Hi, my name is Andrew McGinnis. Today I'm going to be reporting on an article that was posted about the Pakistani economy and issues that it's been having with a massive economic crisis and foreign trade. Pakistan is a low-income developing country with a population estimated at 242 million. It's been recently undergoing a massive economic crisis with high rates of inflation and surmounting debt. Inflation rates have reached up to 36%, and debt within the country has reached up to 126 billion as of December last year. This economic crisis, specifically the inflation rates, have been largely due to turmoil within the food and energy markets. With a large population, swaths of arable land, food should not be an issue for a country like this. However, flooding occurred last year, which led to a massive downturn in its output of wheat. This, compounded with the war in Ukraine, grain prices saw a sharp increase across the globe, and it created a largely unmanageable food crisis within the country. Food being one issue, oil is another. Turmoil in the international oil market ever since the Russia-Saudi Arabia trade debacle have only made things worse, with the constant decline of the Pakistani rupee. Tariffs on every import of oil get progressively worse with inflation, which leads to the government taking on more debt or refinancing the obligations it has to China, and which leads to further deterioration of their currency, which leads to more debt. Now, as of December last year, they owe $126 billion in loans. 30% of this is directly owed to China, and 77% of this is directly owed by the government. And the investment into defense instead of industry or education is dragging the country into eventual bankruptcy. Between now and June 2026, they will owe around $80 billion in foreign debt alone. And for a $350 billion economy, this is a burden unlike any other. I believe this is a deliberate play by China, as a part of their Silk Road initiative. Pakistan owes more to China than any other international creditor, with high interest rates and a currency swap facility with the country to boot. It intends to irreversibly indebt Pakistan to China, making reliance on China the only option against total economic collapse. Now, China isn't doing this out of the goodness of their hearts. They've been doing this to a majority of low to middle income countries in an attempt to circulate the global economy around them and away from the West. With these high interest loans and currency swapped agreements and investment into infrastructure, they hope to shield their own country against Western sanctions in the future by dethroning the dollar and replacing it with the Chinese yuan as the global trade standard. I believe that loaning to these developing economies in Africa, Southeast Asia, and South America, knowing their inability to pay the debt back, is a play to receive favorable conditions from these countries that will be the future of global markets for oil and manufacturing. It's a largely immoral play off of these countries' short-sightedness, and they are purposefully devastating these economies and the livelihoods of the citizens in them for long-term economic growth.